Hello there, everyone. This is Ashmita from Sourav Sir Classes. We are here to talk about the different types of verbs. We are starting off with transitive verbs. What is a transitive verb? It's a verb that is accompanied by a direct object. Let's straight away go to the examples that would make this concept really very clear to you. Leonardo ate a delicious pepperoni pizza. So, ate. Okay, ate a delicious pepperoni pizza. So here ate is a transitive verb because it has a direct object. And what is that direct object? It's a pepperoni pizza. Okay, it's a pizza basically, which is the direct object. I told in my previous videos also that a sentence consists of a subject, a verb, and an object. Please remember the structure based on which all the sentences are made. So let's focus on the second sentence. The wealthy man bought three paintings. So this is also a transitive verb because here paintings is the direct object. She really hates broccoli. So um hates is the transitive verb because broccoli is the direct object. All right. So that is how these are termed as transitive verbs. Let's move over to the intransitive verbs. Which words do we call as the intransitive verbs? The opposite of a transitive verb is an intransitive verb. There are certain examples like prepositional phrases, adjectives, adverbs cannot be used as direct objects, all right? So, yeah, both action and stative verbs can be used as intransitive verbs. Like, let us directly move over to the examples, which will help you to understand better. And the sentence that is showcased over here is airplanes fly. After that, do we have any object? No, no direct object is there. So, yeah, this fly is an intransitive verb because there is no direct object after it. Second, the children slept while the adults worked. So, slept. After slept, there is no direct object, though there is this adults over here which can be treated as the object, but don't forget we need a direct object. We don't need just an object, but a direct object just after the verb. So hence this is also an intransitive verb example. Third one, the terrified monkeys hid in the trees after they saw the gigantic, hungry snake. There's a preposition called in over here because of the presence of which we cannot consider the objects that are mentioned after it. So, hence, prepositions also act as an important part in determining whether the verb in the sentence would be transitive or intransitive. All right. So, yes, this wouldn't be transitive. Of course, it would be intransitive verb. So, I'm writing. Let's talk more about these things like transitive and intransitive verb. Transitive verbs, as I have already told, it needs an object. Intransitive verb cannot have an object. Like I bought a car. So car is a direct object. And after bought, we have the direct object. So yeah, this is a transitive verb, and intransitive verb, the baby smiled. So baby is the noun, and after that, this is the only verb after which there is no direct object. So hence, we can consider this to be an intransitive verb. You buy something, okay? So something is an object. What did you buy? A car. So over here, they have just given the explanation how to understand this sentence. All right, so yeah, let's not go into too much details. You all can read these explanations afterwards also, or you can read it now also, whatever is possible for you. Verbs that are transitive and intransitive, like let's take another sentence. I stopped the car. Stopped is a transitive verb and car is the direct object. Car stopped. Stopped is the intransitive verb over here, and there is no direct object after that. All right. So this is, of course, the intransitive verb, and here this is the transitive verb with the direct object. Let's go through some other sentences. He runs a small grocery store. So runs is the transitive verb because there is written a small grocery store. So this is the direct object, small grocery store. No prepositions in between, no conjunctions in between. Okay, so this is the direct object. I'm writing do, which represents direct object. Let's move over to the next sentence. He runs along the beach every morning. So he runs along the beach every morning. So along is stopping beach from becoming the direct object. So yes, we cannot consider run as the transitive, but it's surely an intransitive verb. Okay. Let's move over to modal verbs. Now, modal verbs are a little bit different from from the rest of the verbs. Like list of verbs, which can be considered as modal verbs, include can, may, might, must, would, should. Now, see, there are many modal verbs, of which I would be giving some of them, like should, shall, should. Okay, through this you can remember shall, should, with will, would, might, may, might, or may is already written. So may, might, ought to. Okay, ought to. There are many other modal verbs. Let's go through some sentences which represent some modal verbs through these. Like once you finish your homework, you may play outside. So yeah, may is a modal verb as we can clearly see it in the sentence above. Next, we must carefully add 2 eggs to the mixing bowl. Must. I've already mentioned over here. Must. I would go to the movies if I wasn't busy working. So will, would. That would be perfect as a modal verb example. Next, let us move over to phrasal verbs. Phrasal means 1 or 2 words or 3 words put together, and it's termed as a phrase. So, phrasal verbs are combinations of verb with prepositions and or adverbs that have a different meaning from the individual words used to form them. So, when we use a single word, it has a different meaning, and when we use a group of words together, that will provide us a very different meaning. So same words, the words having a kind of meaning, if put together in a phrase, won't have the same meaning anymore. So we need to focus on that. um, yeah, they have given an example for you to understand better. The verb shut means to close, right? And the adverb down means not up, of course, not up, it means down, go down in a descending direction, of course, like go down. The phrasal verb shut down means to stop. So definitely it's having a totally different meaning. Shut means to close, down means something which is going down. And if we put together this shut down like together in a phrase, it means to stop, which is of course not going similar anyhow with the rest of the words that are given. So shut has a different meaning, down has a different meaning. When put together, it has a different meaning. Okay, so that is how the list of the phrasal verbs would also work. Ask has a different meaning, for has a different meaning, but when we put together, ask for means you're asking permission for something. Okay, put up with, talk down to, lock up, all have different meanings. Cut across. Okay, let's go through some of the other phrasal verb examples also. The frustrated business owner closed down his store. Closed down means shut down his store. Okay, shut down his store. Dave loves to show off his baseball trophies. Show off means to like boast, like showing off. Okay. My mother, like with proudness, with with pride, with boastfulness, you show off your trophies like that. My mother always told me it is a good idea to put some money away in case of emergencies. So idea to put some money away means to keep some money safely somewhere else so that you can use them in cases of emergency. Next, we are coming across the regular verbs. A verb which is considered as a regular verb is in its past tense form, and mostly and sometimes also it is in its past participle form ending with ed, or D, or sometimes T also. Like list of regular verbs include jump becomes jumped. Then like it has an addition of ed. Then slip becomes slipped, and try becomes tried, sleep becomes slept, lend becomes lent. Okay, so that is how it works. Regular verbs. Examples of regular verbs in a sentence: he walked 2 miles to the post office. So he walked. Walk became walked. That's a regular verb. Purchase became purchased. All of the supplies. Need become needed. Notice become noticed. So yeah, these are some of the things. Let's go through some of these examples of regular verbs. Walk becomes walked, talk becomes talked, clean becomes cleaned, choke becomes choked, grate becomes grated, book becomes booked, ban becomes banned, amuse becomes amused, answer becomes answered, and accepted becomes accept becomes accepted. Last would be the irregular verbs. Not finite and non-finite verbs we might discuss in some other videos. Yeah, regular and irregular verbs. If the formation of the verb is otherwise than the regular verb, it is called the irregular verb. Like for example, an irregular verb is a verb whose past tense and past participle form doesn't end in ed or d, or doesn't end in t variant, means just the opposite of what we have learned in the regular verbs. So here are some lists given of the irregular verbs. Like mostly we can clearly see we have the be verbs over here, or the regular verbs like am, is, are, was, were, being, be, been. Then eat becomes ate or eaten over here. Then fly becomes flew or flown over here. Catch becomes caught and caught over here. Then set becomes set over here. So yeah, these are some of the regular verbs. Then there are some sentences given having irregular verbs. Like Cindy knew all of the right answers. So knew is the irregular verb example. This junky computer has given me nothing but headaches since I bought it. So yes, given is another example of irregular verb. The workers took the furniture out of the moving truck. So took is another example of an irregular verb. Here are some more examples of irregular verbs. Shut remains shut. Drink becomes drank or drunk. Break becomes broke or broken. Beat becomes beat or beaten. Become becomes became or become. Bid becomes bid, bid. Drive becomes drove or driven. Has or have becomes had or had. Okay. There are more to it. Know becomes new or known. Rice becomes rose or risen. Okay. Okay, let's finish off this thing also. That is the last type of verbs, finite and infinite verbs. Sorry, non-finite verbs. Um, See, finite verbs show the tense, number, person, and function as the main verb in a sentence, like she walks. So this walks is a finite verb. And non-finite verbs, on the other hand, talks about like these features and include infinitives, gerunds, participles. They often are used as complements, modifiers, or in clauses. Like let's take the examples mentioned over here. Finite verbs, they act as a verb, and the example that is given, they got home very late at night. Okay, so got is a finite verb. I live in Germany. So live is a finite verb. Was waiting is a finite verb. Promised is a finite verb. Said is a finite verb. Enjoyed is a finite verb. Moving over to the non-finite verbs, do not act as a verb. Of course, like sailing is my favorite sport. It's more like noun. So yeah, they act as noun. or adjectives. Like in the second sense, you see, the sleeping cat is brown. So sleeping cat means we are basically talking about an adjective, which again looks like an adjective because we are talking about sleeping cat. So that is again a non-finite verb. Do not indicate, it does not indicate any kind of person, number, or tense. Like here we are using to wake anyone. So to wake, we are using infinitive. To wake. Then we can talk about non-finite verbs in infinitive, gerunds, and participles. Like I struggle to understand. So we just got to see to wake, to understand, and here in the last sentence we get to see to play. So yeah, that's it for today's video. If you want to like follow our channel and follow these interactive sessions, then you can join our live sessions also. For that, you can just check the description box below this video. And if you are preparing for any kind of entrance exams, um, you can also check the description box below. And if you have any kind of queries, you can post down your comments below. We'll answer your queries. That's it for today's video. Let's meet again in the next videos.